Here we are with Johnny Kevorkian and Sam Gittins, who present here in Italy for the first time Await Further Instructions, which is a movie that mixes the horror and the thriller genre. The first question I want to ask you is, this movie can be considered in part a typical nowadays home invasion movie. There are many home invasion in the last 10 years, but this movie shows a family that is blocked in a house. We don't know who the enemy is until the end, so it's a home invasion movie, but also a mystery movie. How do the script for this movie start and how it was born?
Well, just to answer that, it's like the script was actually a writer called Gavin Williams who wrote the script, and he's based in England. He's had films shown here at Trieste, short films shown at Trieste as well, and he wrote the script a few years ago, and then the producer of that film saw my feature film, The Disappeared, and they basically saw that and they asked me if I wanted to direct this. So that's really it. So I didn't create it. I was brought in, and then I did some work on the script with the writer, and after that, so yeah, that's how it was born, through his imagination. So
both the director and the actor are in the horror scene, because you directed Disappeared, you acted in The Hole. So, do you think this is your best movie genre? You want to continue to produce and to act in a horror movie, or it's just the start for something else in your career?
I like to go into it. I like to go in and out of it. So sometimes, you need to be away from the fake blood and the effects for a little while, but you always want to go back and do it. I think it's an amazing genre to be part of. I think a lot of actors shy away from it because they struggle with trying to imagine things that aren't actually possible or plausible. But no, I never shy away. I love it. I never shy away from it.
Same again. although this is my second film. The first was a horror thriller, horror drama. This is horror sci-fi. But yeah, I'm obviously will keep making films like this, but at the same time I would like to do something else, like a thriller or a drama, something different as well as nice just to go off and do, but primarily it'll be this genre film, so yeah.
The idea for the TV is a explicit recall to the classic of David Cronenberg, or it's just something.
I think again it was was like influences from the 80s films like the Poltergeist and Videodrome, and obviously The Thing, and then there was what else? There's Hellraiser is another one I like, and The Fly. So those films were always my big influences, and then obviously when it came to creating it with the atmosphere and the mystery side was like the Hitchcock's The Birds, or even Twilight Zone. So they all became influences for the film throughout.
In fact, I asked you before if you want to continue the horror genre, because I think that this is not a very common horror and thriller movies for 2018. So I also thought it was very retro and vintage style. It brought me to the 80s. Also for the speech of the characters, the ironic parts. So I totally agree with you. I want to ask you if you both have new projects for the future, for the next year.
So I just shot a film called Break, which is a snooker film with Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner. And I shot a film in Italy that is by an Italian director called Ciro Sorrentino, called Time Perspectives, and that's sci-fi. Again, that's a time travel movie, so hopefully maybe it'll be here next year.
And I'm working on a TV series, a horror TV series at the moment, so I can't say any more, but that's what I've been working on with some Americans, so so it's all exciting.
This is a very great news. In the movie I saw a first part that is very colorful. It bring us to the the Christmas time.
Mhm.
The second part becomes very darker.
Yes.
Is there some inspiration for that, for the use of the color and the setting? It has reminded me another movie of the last year that was also very in 80s style, that is The Void, because
yes.
it becomes always darker and more underground. A thing that I like very much is the transformation of a character that I don't want to tell, because I don't think that transformation, the creatures are very common in this era of movie genres. So
Mhm.
I want to ask you something about.
Well, I mean, no, you're right. I mean, the transformation of character and of environment as well, because like you said, the lighting and everything. But I saw The Void after I made this, after I shot it. I hadn't finished the post production, but I saw that after. I thought, that's interesting film as well. But I think the thing was I guess not really. I didn't really. For me, it was about just wanting to put people in that, because obviously you're in the house for 90 minutes. I wanted to make it feel like you're there. It doesn't feel like the same every time, because when you're watching these, sometimes the film, it's all in one location. It just feels like you get to scene 50 and it's the same as scene 1, and I wanted something different. So I thought also to psychologically break down the characters, you need to also break down the environment and the look of the film. So everything had to move towards that direction of what's it going to become at the end. So it was deliberate, but no real influences for that. But that's why. But it was working on those ideas of it. So. Yeah, but yeah, it was all about just making it feel different and fresh throughout.
I want to ask Sam if he has some influences for your acting style. If you are a fan of some horror movies, and if you have watched something before acting in this one.
So horror movies wise, probably my favourites are slightly older ones like Hurt or Shining's probably my favourite, and then maybe Cloverfield. But main inspirations are usually your more naturalistic actors. Stephen Graham, Gary Oldman, massive influences. But even people that you work with, like Grant Masters, who was on this, you learn things from those actors. And, Abigail Crumpton as well. They're all influences. So.
I want to ask Johnny, what do you think about the horror movie industry nowadays? If it has good expectations for the future, if it is in a big period of trouble of ideas. I think that this movie shows new ideas as I started this interview, but it's not a thing that I think so often, so I want to show you.
Yeah, I think the horror genre is very healthy at the moment. I think it's strong. It's the last couple of years been very strong, with lots of really good original films that come out. And I think, and also what's interesting is bringing in people that would have never seen a horror film before to watch them now. So I think there is, because they're all becoming successful. I think, and also now with platforms like Netflix, Amazon, and Apple launching, I think there's going to be lots of areas to be able to. They're going to want more content, and I think and horror is always something that does well on those sort of on those sites as well. And I think it's exciting. I think there'll always be the horror films made which are always the same, like the ghost story or the possession film. Those will always happen, and those will always feel the same. But people still go and watch them, But I think at the same time, you will have these kind of films where it's something different, like It Follows or The Babadook or Witch. And recently it was like Hereditary. Those films are very different. They have a different feel to it. I think those will happen, but probably not. But I'm glad they don't happen all the time, because if they did, then people would become sick of them. So yeah, it's a good state at the moment.
You're working on our TV series. I want to ask you, how does it change working in a movie and then in a TV series for the horror style?
Well, I think it's just more about it takes a bit longer to develop, and obviously it's slightly. But again, if you treat it as a film now, with a TV series, you have to treat the same quality with the actors, the design, the look. Everything has to be the same, even if it's TV. It has to feel like a cinema film, cinematic as well. I think so. It hasn't really changed a huge amount, but everything you and obviously, it all happens in one episode, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. So that's the sort of difference. But again, you have all scripted up. So yeah, but it has its differences, but at the same time, you just think it's the same, And there's more money in TV, of course, because people spend more money on TV than films. But
Another thing that I thought yesterday when I watched the movie is that this is not a very teen movie, but a more adult one. What do you think is the perfect person that wants to watch? Wait for the instructions.
Cinema, but horror fans, or just not even horror fans, just people who love good sci-fi, just original content. They want to see something different. I think that's the key. It's not people who go and go, I want to go watch, The Conjuring, or want to see that, But there's nothing wrong with those films. I like those films, but it's not those sort of people. But they'll be surprised by watching. And again, it surprises a lot of people when they go and watch it. They don't know what to expect. So when they see it, they're very surprised by it. And that's what's been good. The reactions from it.
I think you've got so many different types of character in there.
Yeah, they can relate to them.
There's someone in there you relate to. I think there's a lot of very British things about the film in terms of some of the humour, but I think the rest of the world can laugh at that as well.
There's those sort of themes of being a human, being a person, being a family. I think everyone in the world relates.
Family at Christmas thing. I mean, everyone
relates
at Christmas.
Everyone has a bad person in the family, or everyone has something like that. That they can say, well, that reminds me of that person, or that person, or even if it's not their family, another family. So different themes, but people relate to.
Sam, how was working and acting with the other part of the cast?
Yeah, great. Just Holly Weston, I always love working with.
She was in How, wasn't she?
Yeah, we were in How together. We did another horror called Sacricide together. And yeah, they're just really, really lovely people. We got really tight because we were staying in the same hotel together, going to set together, then coming back. So we had me, Abigail Grant, Chris Sadler, who I love. And they're just great people to work around. David Bradley was a huge inspiration. They're just lovely people, and we're really lucky that you pick nice people, actually.
That's good. That's how it helps. So,
how long did it take you to shoot all the movie?
5 weeks, just under 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks until and 1 week of that was the end sequence. The effects.
The last thing I want to ask is about the effects that I liked very much.
Right.
I don't want to be very explicit because I
spoilers.
think it's one of the best part of the movie.
Right.
How was creating that part?
In terms of how was it easy or difficult, that kind of thing? Or?
It's difficult, and if you used more computer or?
No, it was difficult because my first film I did the Dispute only had 25 visual effects shots. This has nearly 500, so it's a big difference. But all the effects that are there at the end are all practical. They're all real. It's prosthetics, puppeteers, animatronics. They're all there for real. So the only CG was used to clean up wires and remove puppeteers and to enhance a little bit. So, but otherwise physically it was all there. So that was what's good about it. So it was nice to have a physical, especially for the actors. For you acting, it was important to have something physically on him.
Yeah, you never really get that. A lot of the time you go, you have someone with the little green screen dots coming around, and you pretend something's there, but to have something literally on you, it's much easier.
What would you do if a producer asked you to make a sequel for
He'd
this
hire
movie?
me straight away. I'd be the first person.
I wish I could. Well, I won't say it more, but I'd definitely do a sequel. We are actually, just so you know, we are now in discussions about creating a TV spin-off for it. So we are working on that at the moment.
Something similar. Something similar.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good idea for a series of...
because the world can go on from what, at the end of it, so...
Of course. Thank you very much,
Pleasure.
Johnny and Sam, for your time.
Pleasure.
And good luck for your next projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye.